Since the hair frames her face, I decided to start with the braids coming down in front of her face, and I decided to make them. They're still a bit larger than the ones going to the back, but they're more proportional, I guess, or not as much not as to the same degree as in the sketch. To be fair, to be honest, in the sketch I kind of placed them there as a placeholder and then thought, right, I might have done something wrong. I'm gonna come back to you. And I did. So I'm currently putting in like the outline of the braids, and then I'm going to go back in and put the detailing for the braids. I want her to have a bit more of a short, chubby face. I guess maybe like a heart-shaped face? Like a round, something like that. Like chubby cheeks but pointy chin. And I'm using just the circle tool or within Photoshop to make the eyes proper circles instead of having wiggly lines, and then erasing those. Try using the reflect tool so that it's pretty much just to save a step by not having to copy and paste the eye again, and you have the eyes looking symmetrical. I made her collar have layers, so I was mentally trying to keep track of how many layers they had and then replicating it on the other side, as well as remembering for when I had to shade it, so that I knew how many layers there were. And I'm giving her like a little brooch thing or clip that's in the shape of a crab because Cancer. And I guess the dress kind of has these like shoulder detailing. Well, not detailing, but extensions where they kind of look like waves, since Cancer is a water sign. So I'm kind of adding that in like that, as well as the skirt with its pleats to kind of look like waves. I am aware that her arms are probably might be a bit longer than they would generally be. That being said, I thought that was a conscious decision, as was like her hand is she has big hands, and my thought process in that is crabs have long limbs, like long legs, so I wanted her to have long limbs, and they have like the big pincers, so big hands makes sense. Woohoo. And in my head, she doesn't necessarily have that much of a story of the current point. I don't really know what's happening in the story. Currently I have wealthy family. Well, she is currently a person of wealth. That is all I have, and I gave her like the rings. I gave her a few rings and bracelet and and a few jewelry pieces, stuff like that, to symbolize that and remind myself of that when I actually come to thinking like, right, who were you? I know where you're supposed to be. What are you supposed to do? Which role are you supposed to fill? Are you alive in the current time point? Or are you in a flashback one? Or are you simply retired? I don't know. One of those, like, are you dead? Are you retired? Or are you still on the job? One of those. There's a lot I'm trying to think about at the same time. And it's like, what would I change of the design if I was going to like spend more time in the sketching process of just trying things out and stuff like that, you know? There are a lot of overlapping lines. There seems to be... Taurus also had a lot of overlapping lines, and I'm just trying to not get lost, which I frequently do get lost when in these, and try to like catch anything that's out of place. I feel like one of her ears is supposed to be visible, but aren't. This is the very... This is a process that actually kind of reminded me of something I did before, where I drew a giant snake. And I like added in each scale by hand. So adding in each like, is it a pleat? Each braid, like thing, curve by hand kind of reminded me of that. As well as the lines, the construction lines that I put in for where, so that I knew where the braids were. They're all helpful, but when you look at a braid, they don't have a straight line on them. So some of them I had to like take out so that they didn't look too rigid. And I think I might have forgotten to do the braided bits for some of the ones going back. I either mistook them for... Yeah, I think I forgot to add those, the ones at the very back, like some like small braids that were like, I guess, being swept by the wind, going to the side. I forgot to do those, or add the texture to those. But I'll do that next time. And I'll color her in next time. Cancer, yeah. I have to think about if I'm going to go with the color palette that I've been told is Cancer's color palette, or the color palette that I was thinking Cancer's color palette was. But we shall see. Anyway, have a wonderful day. See you later, and goodbye.